Two teams with massive roster changes, completely different expectations coming into the 2026 season. On one side, Furia, there's a team that desperately needed a rebuild. And on the other side, there's Sentinels, a historic org trying to redefine itself after slowly losing the core that made it legendary. The match we're going to be reviewing on Split here wasn't just another VCT Americas game, it was a stress test for both projects, one that had a shocking result for everybody in the crowd. And what we got was one of the clearest examples of identity versus reputation, and here we're going to be breaking it down. This is the story of how David finally beat Goliath, Furia versus Sentinels on Split.
Pit is another thing to play around, and pulls the back of the site. Leaf has got it all in his control as that pit falls as well. The opportunity! Oh!
Really quickly, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the support on all the last two videos. We're sorry for the delay and disappearing off the face of the earth. We are still very active in our Discord server, discord.gg/MVSK. We hope to do an overhaul and brand new rendition of the coaching program. So if you guys are curious in that, go ahead and join it. Now, for some backing context on Furia, the new Furia roster was going to be a big question mark for everybody. We had 5 new players with almost no shared Tier 1 experience together. We had 2 players coming from M80 back from 2023, where they pushed for a Tier 1 spot and fell short. 2 more new players, Elim and Nerve, coming off of the 2025 QOR Gaming Tier 2 roster. And for most of this team, it was a fresh start. And their results early on in the season did not exactly inspire confidence. At the Sen Invitational, Furia struggled really bad against Sentinels, losing 5-13 on Sunset and 8-13 on Haven. Outside of wins against Tier 2, it didn't really look good for Furia, and the rebuild looked really unfinished. That was until the VCT actually started, where they finally picked up the first VCT win against Crew, and suddenly it felt like something was shifting. That win alone sent them right into the upper brackets and right back into Sen. Sentinel's story is almost the opposite. Instead of rebuilding all at once, they kind of lost pieces over time. Back in 2024, after Tens and Sassy retired, 2 of the most iconic players the game has ever seen, a big defining era for Sentinels. Then in 2025, we lost Zekin, who was one of the greatest talents VCT's ever produced. And then we lost Zelsis, whose in-game role might be debated, depending on who you ask, but his impact on team mentality and vibes were no question. So at this point now in 2026, the only person that we had remaining from the Masters Madrid roster was John QT. And with the free agent population not being too promising, we just pulled 2 players up from Sentinels or Keyword, and then they only had 1 person they were missing. The person that we picked up to fill in that 5th spot was Cortesia, and the offseason was very shaky looking. We had close games against Tier 2 teams that people never would have thought would be close. But then Sentinels win the Sen Classic, and then struggle a bit at the Red Bull home ground against stronger Americas teams, and then finally win the Sentinels Invitational. Coming into the VCT Americas, Sentinels felt pretty ready. They already beaten Furia once, they've never lost to them ever before in the history of ever. They had international winners and they had pedigree, which kind of is what makes this entire match so interesting as to how it ended. And we're gonna be looking at the first map Split in this video only. And to make things worse for Furia, this is Sentinel's map pick. And if you guys remember back in 2024 and 2025, Sentinels owned Split. It was almost a permaban against them, and it was during 2024, the year they won Madrid. It has been Sentinel's best map for the last 2 seasons by far. It kind of shows all signs that Sentinels is poised to win, but that's just not what we see happen. In terms of agent comps, we're looking at Furia running a Fade, Yoru, Omen, Viper, Waylay, whereas Sentinels is running Yoru, Omen, Teho, Viper, and Waylay. Now, if you're smart, you're looking at these comps and you have a question mark over Sentinels because you might notice one thing, they're not running a hard recon initiator. No Fade or Sova. We only have 1 drone to re-clear, and that is Teho drone. And this is something that Furia is able to abuse all map long. Jumping into the map now, we're going to be kind of looking at key rounds, so we're not be doing round by round, more so just looking at individual rounds that seem influential, and we have something we can pick up from Furia and how they were able to beat Sen. So here on pistol round, Furia is on defense. Sentinels start with a B pressure, threatening an insert, but they immediately pull back to re-clear mid. This is where Koala Noob's awareness really gets to shine. He instantly responds with an aggressive re-clear, gaining deep B information. Because of that, Furia already have 3 players stacked it, and they're not being forced to rotate. More importantly, Elim's able to swing off the timing created by Sen's mid pressure, and as Sen commit utility and bodies to the mid re-clear, Elim understands that attackers are temporarily split and preoccupied. He uses that window to swing ramp and finds a clean pick onto Cortesia, seen here.
They could go back into B, but really just trying to make some noise now, put the pressure onto Nerve over in Heaven while the A lurk activates.
And side note, on defense, we all know attackers love to lurk when the main pick makes noise elsewhere. Sen make it worse by not waiting during the lurk, giving Elim a perfect timing window. What Furia is doing really well this round is discipline. We're not over-rotating and they're not panicking and they're just holding space. And you're going to notice this becomes a theme throughout the rounds that we look at on defense. Round 3, we're looking at the eco. This is where Furia's identity on Split kind of gets to shine through. They give Koala Noob the hero rifle and they immediately push mid. They clear the entire area and they willingly give up the A site. Now normally on an eco, giving site is pretty risky, but because of the re-clear, they assume Cortesia is already isolated and they push 3 flank players simultaneously. Sentinels is able to get the spike down, but they make a huge mistake by taking 0 space on the post plant. EU recognizes this immediately and holds the Heaven push from CT. Once Cortesia and John QT, who are both in completely untradeable positions, are cleared, Furia know exactly where the remaining Sen players are. As soon as we have the info laid out, we're able to punish poor post plant positioning and poor utility timing. Narrate and Kayu's stuns overlap, Koala and Nerve's mechanics clean it up. Bonus round is converted, which puts Sentinels in a terrible position.
Rounds on low HP, back-to-back rounds left on an island. This time, though, waiting for it. That is a second gun to be picked up. Furia were going to have a chance, although John's position in this corner is exposed. And now Sentinels trying to regroup. Narrate joins his teammates into elbow. Furia don't have an infinite time. It's time to make something happen, but as another hindrance grows out, the clock is starting to tick away. It's 3 for Koala. But so little time left. Redux.
We're going to go 2 more rounds in the future, and we're going to take a look around 5. Koala Noob takes deep mid space again on Yoro, but he's forced to TP away. Still, the A re-clear spots no one, allowing Koala to re-establish with the op in a nearly untradeable line. This lets Artazine and Nerve stay committed towards B. Artazine then fakes Omen ult towards A from B, which Sentinels happily bites at, and then they over-rotate into B. With little time left and defenders already set, Sen collapse. Omen ult steals a round that Sen needed.
E waiting. Cannot find his mark. So this puts Koala all on his own on site. It's a pivot from Sentinels trying to call it back through mid, but it's also Furia reacting. Artazine cancels the teleport on his ult. 2 players here from Furia. What can you do, Nerve? Pulling some attention with so little time. Now Art looking to strike. Back in, main takes him straight out from the sky. And now with so little time left, Sentinels are sent packing.
The next round we're looking at is round 6. Koala Noob instantly walks down B main again. Deep info, and it's the exact same story as last round. With B main and A main noise, Nerve rotates Heaven. 4 players end up on A. There's even a missed screens orb, but it doesn't matter because Furia swing Heaven backside screens on perfect trades 6 rounds in a row for Furia. 2 rounds in the future, we're looking at round 8. Once again, Koala's holding deep B line with the op, and Sentinels has no recon agent, so they're forced into A. Furia is able to stall perfectly. They throw Saturate first, and then they have a reactive paranoia when Narrate shows. This isolates a Redux with no backup. The second pick is secured, Cortesia follows shortly after, and the center forced to save without Koala ever having to leave B. Again, we are seeing immense discipline. You might be thinking, well, you don't need to have too much discipline on yours, you can just teleport across the map. That's true, but remember, we're running an op line on B, and Sentinels has no hard recon. This is just a perfect world scenario for Furia. Taking a look at the next round, we have a full A hit from Sen. There's nobody watching ramp, and Elim playing aggressively all half, full swings ramp and finds 2 kills. And from there, Furia is once again able to stay fully disciplined, and they let Sen's duelist walk into isolated ones. The round is secured, and that pretty much wraps up our defensive half. The main takeaways that we can look at here are that Furia just punished Sen's low map control relentlessly. Koala's deep op lines enable perfect site stacks for Furia. They're not getting pulled by mid pressure, and their reclears are coordinated, slow, and methodical. Once again, the overarching theme here is discipline from Furia versus Sen. And that's how we're able to wrap up a 9-3 half for Furia. Now on the next half, Furia loses their pistol and obviously their eco, but they win the next 4 in a row, so let's go take a look. On the anti-eco, Furia expect a fight. Waylay, Teho, and Yoru comps are excellent at fighting up on ecos. After the A lobby fight, they exploit spacing gaps as pictured here, and they're able to clean up the round. Nothing super crazy to note over.
It's different though. Dashing in with the Bucky there, it's crazy. Sentinels hoping for a little bit extra there, but ultimately taken out with the teleport away. That leaves Caillou alone on site.
I love you taking this timing. Dive straight up towards Heaven, will tuck himself towards Vent.
Ooh, maybe even going for this fight too. Dropping down is a little bit gutsy. Spotted the gun. There he is. Another one bites the dust. Furia still, though, have plenty of time. A minute on the clock. There's still 2 players that haven't gone anywhere on the B side. Definitely want to regroup before activating.
They know that Sen is going to want to re-clear towards Heaven. 2 players ready for it.
Little human drone jumping through, teleporting away. Sees a couple.
But with that TP off, that's left this A side open. Furia will figure that out.
Oh, no one's watching it now. A little bit of a blunder, ultimately unfazed by it though. And now with Furia with players in vents, player in main, really good control. EU, that's 3 on the round.
This position now for Sen is so pinched in. Players on 3 angles, all putting pressure on them.
Wow.
On round 16, after playing slow earlier, Furia completely flipped the tempo. They beat the Teho missiles in A main, Waylay's untradeability nets a kill in a plant, and the double controller utility shuts down ramp, removing Narrate's ability to swing like Elim did earlier, like we saw on defense. And from that, we have another clean round from Furia, allowing them to take the win.
He won a lot of rounds for Furia.
Wow, Furia getting in front of the utility, not wasting any time, jumping forward, Caillou down low, and the follow-through is there. The 1-2 punch out from Furia leaves Sentinels without their in-game leader and leads to a very quick plant.
And this is an operator on the retake now for Sen. It's going to be tough to get back in. Furia even ready to refight as soon as contact is made towards spawn.
Yeah, Furia can also put 3 players back in main off a teleport. Have a great spot to be in.
And the longer that Sen take, the more these players in main become a checkmate.
especially with Sentinels dividing 2 players in main, 2 back in screens. It's getting tougher and tougher for them, especially because one of them is Redux, and that's with an operator. And he's throwing the op into this retake. Has a shorty, couple of flashes to support, but EU again will shut him out of it. John QT and Cortez out in the open.
Round 17, the round entirely belongs to EU on the fade. And Sentinels actually do a lot of things right here. They're clearing angles together, they're trading, they're getting into a diffuse position, but EU dismantles it completely on his own. He slices every angle with no wide swings, every fight isolated. This is probably the round where you, as a mechanical player, can look at and see the highest level of skill from anybody on this game in terms of a mechanical standpoint with the way he peeks and takes angles. EU is able to force Cortesia into an impossible decision with utility and spiked higher pressure, and there we are on match point.
Nightfall 2. Hitting half the players. The first one is good from Sentinels, but still, Paranor decayed without the trades. John QT will track that player falling. John down, and now EU in a 1-on-2.
I'll find you.
Takes his time. He is playing with his food. Oh, EU! Oh, man!
It's the last round. Sentinels bring heavy pressure B main. Furia responds calmly and once again, disciplined. We have deeper holds and clean for 1 for 2 trades. We're not rushing, we're pulling rotates to B, and then we walk back to A through vents. 2 players hold vents, EU baits, then walk into the trap, and the map is completely closed out.
Narrate, lights up B main. Artsin can't teleport away fast enough. He makes it out somehow. Caillou there for the trade, but instantly Furia respond in kind.
And now they freeze.
Correctly, Sentinels are not on the A site, but very nearly could have been a rough one for them. Have the hard read and will eventually have the spike plant.
And I like that. Use the ult to get the spike down, maintain 2 players to hold on to Heaven control.
Redux into Heaven. I'd have only seen 1 player, so this dash in is instantly responded to. Koala, so good up the rope. That's the first.
Now this map wasn't just a win for Furia, it was an identity map versus a habit map. Furia showed true discipline, structure, and trust in each other, which is crazy for how young the roster is and how soon they came together. Sentinels relied on pressure and reputation, it seemed like, and on split, that just wasn't enough. It was a bit closer on Breeze, but it still wasn't enough there either. And if this is what the Furia rebuild looks like when it clicks, the team is going to be a serious problem throughout the rest of the season. I want to give a big thank you and shout out to Super, who wrote the script and analysis on this map for me. If you guys have any questions for him or me, feel free once again to join the server. It'll be the first link in the server. And if you guys want to check out Super's Twitter, where he'll be giving some hopefully decent insight to Valorant, his @ is @SuperMadKick. Once again, thank you guys all so much for the support, and we will see you again very soon, for real this time.